It's been a couple of days now since SSPT Live 2019, which is an amazing event. I had an amazing time. You know, you and I met back at Russell Brunson's event last year, and I'll tell you the story real quick, right? So you took me out into this 5,000 seat arena, and I was like, so what are you up to? What are you doing? And you basically said, you see this? You see this right here? He said, this is what I see for physical therapists. And I was like, dude, I'm on board. Get me involved. And then you said, all right, buy your ticket to SSPT Live now. I think I probably did it that night maybe. And then I showed up to SSPT Live 2019. And you told me that it was going to be an amazing event, not just the speakers, but also just the people that were going to be there. And it was. So tell me about, like, how was the event for you as the creator of such a thing? And how has life been since then? How has it changed?
I mean, the event was just amazing, but I got to be honest with you, Jared. So this is my third year hosting it. The first year that I did it, it was like, wow, I've never hosted an event before. I was just overwhelmed, right? It was just crazy. The second year, it had nearly quadrupled, and I was just overwhelmed on like what we were creating. This past year, nothing really surprised me, except the fact that, like, maybe I'm, at least for those 3.5 days, like, I'm like a celebrity. So it was a little bit like I couldn't just be everywhere. Like, I had to
talking to you in the hallway was like impossible, because, like, for those of you, there was like a floor of people around GT like all the time, like trying to get a word in, right?
Dude, it was crazy. Like, literally, I had to have people escort me back to my room. And I wasn't expecting that. Like, I wasn't expecting to have that. But then it got to the point where we're like, look, we got to get you food. Yeah. You can't go to restaurants.
Is that why Tiny was there? Was he there just to, like, keep people away from you?
Tiny was there. And Tiny, for those listening, is my nephew, who is going to be a cop. And he's like 6'5", like 300 pounds. And so he was just there. And honestly, he was there just because I wanted him to come to the event to support his uncle. But then we realized we need to figure this out because, like, I was being mobbed. So anyways, so an event like that, like, for me, was just so gratifying to be able to help people. And there's nothing like helping people in person. There's just nothing like it. I mean, I do a lot of stuff on social media, but getting people to fly and come in to Clearwater Beach to hang out in my house was just extraordinary. And relationships that we have created online, to be able to solidify them in person, just reinvigorated me and made me realize that I'm definitely on the right track with what I need to do.
So what changed between last year and this year that enabled it to be such a smoother, like, more fulfilling event for you that just felt like it was more, you know, like it was what you wanted to create? Yeah,
I mean, I think I think it's just experience of doing this now, 2 times, and now going to the third year. It's like, okay, I know what needs to be done. There were no major surprises. At the end of the day, I think I had. I mean, look, there's always crazy stuff that's happening behind the scenes, right? But there was really no major surprises this time around. And I'm going to say this as well, Jared. So the difference was last year, the 220 people were coming to see me. Okay. But the difference between last year and this year is that I've built a lot of leaders, and I've allowed lots of people to lead now in the movement. So there were as many people coming to see others as they were to see me. And so that was really cool, because if you notice, like, you were there, you saw like different groups of people with shirts on, like, the K9 PT pack and the acceptance system and PT hustle and just all of these, and body boss, like all these different groups of people. And we've created and so many leaders that I was kind of like more like the Godfather, you know what I mean? I was like the Godfather, but like there were people excited to see other people. So I don't know, it just made it easier. Of all the
amazing speakers, who are some of your favorites, and what were some of the takeaways that you actually had from some of the speakers?
I mean, my coach, I can listen to him all day. I can listen to him all day. So my coach is a guy named Myron, Golden. I can listen to him speak all day long. He just speaks to my soul. So he was amazing. So I got a lot of nuggets just listening to him. But I mean, there really wasn't a bad speaker at all. I mean, I had lots of my students. I think even more than Myron, my students were more gratifying, because I remember working with these people when they were struggling, you know what I mean, in their career, like saying, hey, I'm done with PT. I'm not doing this anymore. And then I got a hold of them, and then they took my program. And now to see what they've done, it's like, I was just up there like a proud papa, like, holy crap.
Right. Their stories, I think that was one of the things that was really great, was that everybody had a chance to tell their story. When you hear all these different stories about, you know, people like Kelly Dugan's coming on the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, you know, someone who was a mother of three, you know, really was in no position to open a practice and did it anyway. And now she's able to spend time with her family. And I think that ultimately, more than anything else, like you said, you know, you can always learn systems, you can always learn tactics, but you know, it's really, if you're not in it to win it, if you don't have that passion to really go out and really the balls to do it. And how do you get those balls is by listening to other people that had to grow balls to do something and go, you know what, I can get some balls of my own right now. Right.
You know, the thing is this, like, it's amazing how much people took action at that event.
Right.
And I'm going to be very honest with you. It's not because of my presentations. I did three major presentations at the event, right? I did a presentation every single day. It wasn't by me. It wasn't because of my coach, Myron. The truth of the matter is that people don't see themselves in me or see themselves in Myron. They don't see themselves in dudes making, you know, 7 to 8 figures a year. They see themselves in the person that literally a year ago was like on the verge of quitting the profession,
right?
$300,000 in debt, and now they're making 6 figures a year, like, and they're making money the way that they want to make it and impacting more lives than they ever could in the traditional sense. Like, that's what makes the whole thing so darn amazing. You know?
Absolutely. Now, Myron is your mentor now, and I was blessed to, you know, I've seen him now. That was the 3rd time I've seen him speak. I saw him speak at 2 other Russell's events. And I think I had sent him a message. I was like, hey, dude, I would love to have you on the podcast. And so he's going to be coming on soon, which is awesome. And I was walking into the restaurant, and he was just sitting there, right? Just ordered his food. He goes, hey, man, you want to sit down? I got to have dinner with him. And
wow, that's awesome.
He really is an amazing cat. And has a ton to offer. You know, what's really cool actually is that at some point in time in the conversation, he actually asked me a physical therapy question. He said, he asked me something about like pain, like how do you differentiate between nerve, muscle, and joint? Because I had told him about the physiothermics and the whole thing. And I just started dropping some of my shit on him. And what was awesome is that he literally just sat there like fascinated listening. You know, I started talking about pain science and the brain. And he is just like, not only just a perpetual teacher, perpetual student, which of course makes him an amazing educator because he takes everything that he learns and he turns it into something that's really useful and applicable to us people. So that's your awesome mentor now, but he hasn't always been your mentor. So who in the beginning, if you can really just kind of like go back into your limbic system for me right now and just think back to like, who was there for you in the very beginning? You know, when you just started your practice and before you started all that stuff, who were you looking to back then when you were early on in your career? Who mentored you and what did you learn from that mentor early on?
Gosh, there's so many. Can I even go back earlier to like high school? Because somebody told me, there's a guy named Patrick Hadley. I'm a geek with like gadgets and toys and roller coasters and all that stuff, right? But when I was in high school, I started getting into radio control planes. Okay. There was a guy at my church. Yeah, RC planes. And there was a guy at my church who basically did that. Like that was his hobby. And he had young boys. And he took me under his wings, right? And said, hey, look, I'll show you. I'll be your RC trainer. And I saved up my money, man. And I got my first plane. And he would take me out to this park. I used to live in South Florida. It was called Markham Park. And he would take me out there and he would basically teach me how to fly planes, right? But while we were out there, he would also mentor me as well. And I was a 3.0 student in high school. And I remember him telling me this, again, just this little nugget that he said to me. And he said, he's like, what are you going to do when you go to college? I was like, I'm not really sure. He's like, well, just remember, you're going to spend 4 to 6 years and you're going to be doing that until the age of 65. Now, just that little thing made me a 3.0 high school student. I would say he was my first mentor. And that made me say, I'm not just going to go to college just to get a degree. and just to get by, because I know that's what my parents want. I actually said, I want to do something that if I had to do it till the age of 65, which he was partially right and partially wrong with that. But if I had to do something at 65, what would I do? And that's what made me say, you know what? I want to be a physical therapist. So he was probably my first mentor that at least said, hey, you know what? Do a little bit more with your life than just trying to get a degree so you can make your parents happy. So I would say he was the first one. I would say the second one, you know, my dad, obviously just being my dad and just watching how he provided for our family. My dad was a mentor as well to me. I would say my older brother.
Event, right?
My dad was at the event. My parents were blown away by what the heck is happening. Like, what the heck? you know what I mean? So that was pretty awesome just to be able to share that moment with them. But I'm going to say this. I say during the time of me starting my practice, when I started my practice in 2005, and I decided to go in this direction, my older brother has always been the hustler, the entrepreneur, just went to college, but just like hated it. And has always, like, he's owned a club, he's owned graphics companies, he now owns tons of real estate in Atlanta. But my older brother was really the first person that started to ingrain into me that, you know, you need to be an entrepreneur. And I fought it, and I fought it, and I fought it, and I fought it.
What were you scared of?
I just, look, I wanted stability. I wanted stability. I wanted 9 to 5. And I saw my dad, who was he's in a financial services company called Primerica. And I saw the ups and downs, and I was like, I don't want any part of that. And I always equated the ups and downs of that with the reason why we had family friction. And I was like, that's the worst thing you could do, is to be an entrepreneur, because it would create family friction. So I just equated that to, it would break up my family. And I've always been a pretty, like, I know I'm hype and stuff, but I've always been someone that's wanted a family, you know, and I was just like, man, I just need a stable job so we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Little did I know that it's actually, for me, it's turned out to be the opposite. Entrepreneurship has actually allowed me to spend more time with my family than I could ever do as a
in many ways, it's more stable because you're in control of everything. You know, I get patients coming in the time. I had a guy come in a couple of weeks ago who basically works for a financial company. He comes in, he says, they're downsizing. I lost my job. And I was like, damn, that would suck to just be at the complete mercy of someone else and not being able to pave your own way. So you had first the young, when you were younger, and then your dad. And then at what point in time did you decide, when you were kind of like coming out of PT school, like what was the epiphany that happened where you were like, okay, I'm going to open my own practice. And not only that, I'm going to go on this larger mission, this bigger thing that you have now, you know, moved into now.
Everything that has been created strictly out of pain. I did not want to be an entrepreneur. No, I'm just being dead honest with this. I did not want to be an entrepreneur. My marriage was in shambles because I wasn't able to spend time with my wife. Okay, that was it. Working the 9 to 5, which for me was not 9 to 5, it was 7 to 8.
Right.
And then I would go to, I would work with professional tennis players when they were in town, when they were in, you know, Tampa Bay, you know, training. And I would train them from 8 or 9 to 12, like to midnight. And I would get home at 1 a.m. just to turn around and do the same darn thing at 5:30 and get up and go back to work. And that was ruining my marriage.
Brutal.
So the truth of the matter, Jared, is that I didn't have a choice. It was either the marriage was going to be done or I was going to have to do something different. I did not want to be an entrepreneur. So that is where the pain actually caused me to say, you're going to have to do something that you don't like to do, because your current situation, you already know what you're going to get out of it. You are going to get a divorce. Okay. And everything, the root of our problems were strictly from lack of time with each other. So I've been trying to crack the time code from then. Okay. All right. So that's the pain with that. That's the only reason why I'm an entrepreneur today. If my wife didn't give a crap to be around me and she would have been fine with that, I would still be working for somebody right now. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about what has been created today with SSPT. Again, strictly out of pain. It's out of pain because during my journey, I told you about the different mentors that I had. I did not have a physical therapist mentor. I did not have a physical therapist that knew business, that was willing to share their business knowledge and acumen with me.
Mm-hmm.
And also during my journey of building my clinics and building, just all that stuff, the people that helped me from a business standpoint were all non-healthcare providers. There's been this thought that we in healthcare, we cannot work with each other. We have to compete against one another. Everyone's competition. So the reality is that what you have seen and what you experienced last week at SSPT Live is strictly from my pain. It's from me not having people, like-minded people in my profession that I could say, hey, let's work with each other. Help me out. Let me tell you what's going on with me. Let me tell you what's happening here. You tell me what's going on. Let me see if I can help you. Like, I never had that. So the truth is that everything that I've created has been strictly out of pain.
So who did you end up studying from in the marketing world? Who were the biggest influencers?
Gosh, I think initially it was a guy named T. Harv Eker.
Okay.
That was probably the first person that like opened up the loop in my brain. Like, okay, whoa, this is different. And then after that, I think it was Tony Robbins.
Okay.
And then it was Les Brown. And then I just started listening to everything I get my hands on. I was just soaking it all up. Right. And then I was just like, okay, all right, man, I'm learning a lot of stuff. But I was able to translate it into my profession. Right. Because these guys are business marketing people, but they weren't in healthcare. And then I just started to transfer it into what I was doing. And then now I've become that for healthcare.
So that all of that stuff was born out of pain. But I mean, just watching you perform now and what you're doing now, something is different, right? It doesn't look like to me like you're operating from, I'm moving away from pain anymore. Now you're moving towards something. Now you're moving towards something bigger. You have a vision. So can you share your vision? Can you share your vision with the listener now and kind of like just paint the picture of what you see, what PT looks like in a couple of years or maybe 10 years, or what does that look like to you?
Yeah, I mean, so this is the one thing is that I'm trying to get people to unlearn stuff. All right, I'm trying to teach people stuff, but I'm trying to get them to unlearn a few things.
Right.
So let's kind of go through it a little. Number one is that I was told that entrepreneurship is only made for certain people. You're either built to be an entrepreneur or you're not. Well, that's a lie. That's a total lie because I don't want to be one. I was like, wait. But people tell me that I'm kind of dynamic and I've got this larger than life personality, blah, 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 blah. I was like, man. So I was like, can you teach this to other people? Well, now I've seen it all.
Right.
Now I've seen pretty much all of us did not want to do this. We did not want to be entrepreneurs. We're all so different. Some of us high energy, some of us low energy. Some of us been out for 30 years. Some of us been out for 3 months. And I've seen all of us win. There's a blueprint to it. So now here's my mission. My mission is this. I believe everyone can be an entrepreneur in some form of what an entrepreneur is.
It kind of reminds me of that. Remember that movie Ratatouille?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's like the fat chef, and he's like, anyone can cook,
Anyone can cook.
Yeah.
My kids and I literally, I think it was like 6 months ago, watched that again. So anyways,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
but I truly believe that. I truly believe that anyone can be an entrepreneur. But I also know that there's different forms of it, right? Like at my clinics, I've got 3 clinics, right? I give every single person that works at my clinics the opportunity to be an intrapreneur, meaning that let's figure out ways to serve our clients even better. You come up with the idea, you build the product, you build the business, and I will get a percentage of it, and you get a percentage of it. Since you built it, you'll get more. Cool, right? So it might mean that you still have a main job, but I want everyone to have the ability to be able to do their thing. So today, here's what I believe. I believe everyone can be an entrepreneur. That's number one. Number two, I believe that healthcare is totally broken. It is a broken system. Number three, I believe that if you are a successful entrepreneur, that means you are successfully solving problems for people. If you don't solve problems for people, you're going to go out of business. So that then concludes me to saying that since everyone can be an entrepreneur, healthcare system is broken, entrepreneurs solve problems for a living, the only way we are going to fix healthcare is if we build more entrepreneurs. So now my mission is over the next 5 years to create 10,000 new entrepreneurs in healthcare.
I learned the same thing that you did at some point in time, because I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur, which was, there's a certain type of person, you have to have a certain knowledge base. And Yeah, you quickly find out that if you become an entrepreneur by accident, like you and I did, where we're just running away from like, the system that we know we don't want to get swallowed up by. And it's almost like, there's like this giant animal chasing us and there's no path to take. So you run into the forest, there's no path, but you don't want to get eaten. So you make a path because you have no choice.
Right.
And you get your hatchet out, you start slashing away. And eventually you realize you look to your left, you look to your right, and there's other people that don't look anything like you. And they have hatchets too. And they're slashing away. And you're like, hey, let's all get together and let's slash together. And it's amazing what you can actually create. So I like the way you put it, though. I like the way you put it in terms of, healthcare is broken, which we know, and entrepreneurs solve problems. And therefore, the only people that can solve the problem of healthcare are entrepreneurs. I never really thought of it in that way, but that is so true.
It really is. Here's the bigger issue. Currently, entrepreneurs are running healthcare. The issue is that the entrepreneurs that are running healthcare are entrepreneurs that don't have a healthcare background. Now, Jared, you got into PT.
Just to be clear, you mean the business people that are running the show exactly. are entrepreneurs, but they don't understand healthcare, they understand business. You're not talking about PTs running the show. You're talking about like the CEOs and the execs who own professional and things like that.
Right. Yeah. And here's the deal. You and I go to bed every night thinking of our patients, thinking of how we can make life better for them. These big cats, these CEOs that have no affinity to the patient. They're looking at the numbers. They're looking at the dollars, the cents. How do we operate this thing? Boom, 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 boom. They don't have that internal conflict that me and you have. Right. So what ends up happening is that they're doing things in order to make the business work. Right? Okay. But the reason why I believe that healthcare professionals have to be entrepreneurs and why I believe that I've been able to be successful with my clinics, but at the same time, more importantly, yes, I can have profitable clinics, but I also have over 225-star reviews between my 3 clinics is because I have that internal conflict. I've got to be able to take care of the client because I'm a physical therapist at heart, but I also have to be a savvy business owner and put my company in a position to be profitable so that I can level up my team and my employees. You see, they don't have that. They don't have that feeling like, hey, I don't give a crap. They're like, I don't give a crap. Look, let's make sure that we're bringing in the bucks. I don't really care if you're happy because the truth is I can get another one of you at any time, right? And so they don't have that. And I think because they don't have that internal conflict that people like me and you have, well, I think that they really don't give a crap if.
Right. So entrepreneurs are running the show. It's just the wrong entrepreneurs.
It's just the wrong entrepreneurs. That's it. Yeah. So I need to build healthcare people into entrepreneurs. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, you know what? You just finished your schooling. Let's start a new school now. Let's start a new school where I'm going to teach you other things that you were not taught in your first 20 to 25 years of school. You weren't taught communication. You weren't taught how to communicate with people that don't know what it is that you do. You weren't taught to communicate with people that are kind of aware of what you do. You weren't taught for people that know that you could solve their problems. You weren't taught how to communicate with them. You weren't taught how to lead people. You weren't taught how to have vision. You were taught to be a worker bee. That's all you were taught. So let's go ahead and now say, hey, that served its purpose and we know plenty of that. Now let's go and learn these higher levels of skills. Let's combine it. And let's change the world. Absolutely.
Now, to do something like that, it sounds difficult, right? I mean, you're listening to it, it sounds like a big venture. And for what I see from successful people, they do something that most of us really have a hard time doing, and that's getting laser focused. And I want to kind of just pick your brain a little bit on how you stay focused, because you're involved in so many different things. You have 3 practices that you're running. You have this conference that you do every year, which is growing every single year on year. You have your online mentorship program. You have several other coaching programs, which we can get into in a little bit. But how do you know what you're going to do in a given day? Like, how do you get through your to-do list? Like, how do you stay focused and still have the time to fulfill what you want to fulfill with your family and spend time with your wife and your kids and everything?
Yeah. I mean, I homeschool my kids. I mean, so
you actually do the homeschooling?
My wife and I do, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we homeschool our kids. I mean, at the end of the day, this is how I look at it. you get whatever you expect. Okay. This is just it. I have a schedule and I stick to my schedule, and I've turned myself into a mini machine, right?
Walk us through a day. Walk us through a typical
okay.
day.
Perfect. All right. So let's do that. So let's take a Tuesday. On a Tuesday, I typically start at about 6 a.m. I get up, I read my devotionals, I read the Bible, I take my pre-workout, and then I basically will do a live stream. That's my marketing for the day. That's done before 7:45. And then I basically write down in my planner everything that I need to do for the day, right? Line by line. I go work out, come back. I usually start coaching calls at 9 a.m. I go from 9 to 12. I take a break from 12 to 1. From 1 o'clock to 2:30 is time for renewal rehabilitation. That's my physical therapy company.
Right.
And then from 2:30 to 4:30 is date time. That's when my wife and I go out on a date every Tuesday and Thursday. I usually get back around 5 o'clock. If there's any additional coaching calls that are needed, I'll do that until 6:30. And then basically if the kids have any questions, any this, that, whatever, or, they want to, hang out or, do whatever, then that's it. I mean, that's basically what I do. Now, my other companies and here, so it's like, well, wait, how about the other companies? Well, right. The deal is that I learned one of the skills that I never learned in my first 20, 25 years of schooling. I've learned how to build up other people. I have meetings with my teams. I teach them. I empower them. I let them know that I trust them. I let them make mistakes. I don't absolutely ream them every single time something goes wrong. I know, and I attract quality people because right. I'm constantly putting myself out there, right? So I'm putting myself out there that I'm a guy that doesn't want people that are, that don't take themselves seriously. I'm a guy that doesn't create excuses. I'm a guy that loves to serve others and puts others first before myself. So, and then I'm a loudmouth, right? So I basically put myself out there every single day. So I've been just now attracting those types of people in my life, right? Now today, I've made it harder for people to come into my life because I charge, right? So you can't just get into my life easy. So now the filter is getting so much better that if you're going to even get on the phone with me or talk with me, you have to pay. Right. And so it creates a commitment level for the people that are coming into my life.
Right.
And so that's what I do. I mean, that's basically how I do it. And I've created a funnel of who comes into my life. And then those people that come into my life, I have another funnel of when they get into my life, I can tell who are the serious ones and who aren't. And right. So the ones that are, and I see them excelling, I give them opportunities to work within my businesses. That's it. I mean, that's really how I do it.
How do you run the brick and mortar practice in such a short amount of time block during the day?
Yeah, so the big thing is this. I don't run the practice. I have clinic directors that went for my times that I have my calls. Like right before I had this podcast interview with you, I met with my business partner. We met for an hour and a half. I had breakfast. We cranked out everything that we needed to crank out. We're good to go. Okay. Then this weekend on Saturday, I met with one of my main PTAs at my breakfast spot. Everybody knows you got to come to Greg, right? So they know they got to come down to the beach. They got to meet Greg at his breakfast spot. So she met with me. Cool. Right after that, one of my main PTs, you met him, Joseph, he met with me. Okay, awesome. Javi met with me after that. So it's like, boom. It's like all my main people, they have access to me. I serve them. Then they go and they serve the teams. Right. And then a couple times a year, I bring everybody together. I bring them to one of my homes down here and we do retreats and we get everybody on board. We get everybody like, look, this is where we're at. This is where we're going. But yeah, that's the thing. I think most people are like, how do you do it all? I don't do it all. That's what I do. I trust people. And one of the biggest things that we have never learned as clinicians is how to trust people. We have been conditioned and indoctrinated that the only way it's going to get done right is if we do it.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the way. So that's why people can't even fathom it. I had to unlearn that stuff, Jared. I had to unlearn that, you know what? there are people that if you empower them can do it better than you. Most people can't stomach that because their whole self-worth is tied into them being the best. And no one can do it like me. Screw that. Screw that. I ain't got no time for that. I don't have my self-worth tied up into that. I have my self-worth tied up into my wife. And I got my self-worth tied up to my kids. So the truth of the matter is that, here, I want to tell you this. I'm going to get deep on you real quick. If I went to that event and if no one showed up, guess what? We would have had a great time, my kids and my wife. If I put out my $25,000, $30,000 coaching program and nobody went to the back table and signed up, guess what? I'm good because my self-worth isn't tied up into that. If someone decides to quit one of my programs, which they'd be a damn idiot if they did, but if they decided they wanted to, I don't got my self-worth tied up into that. The people that are closest to me love me more than those people that were at the event. And so I have set up my life to basically have a lifestyle to where I'm able to spend time with the people that are closest to me. They get priority. So that's what allows me to be so stable as an entrepreneur. Because if I have a good day or a bad day, it doesn't matter. I got a wife that loves me. I got kids that love me. You know, it's all good. I don't have my work tied up into the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. If we, you know, it's so funny. The week before the event, we were actually at a Hampton Inn, right? Because it was one of my my nieces was having her christening, and we were all in one bedroom Hampton Inn suite, right? Or it wasn't even a suite, man. It was just a piece of crap room, right? Okay, all right. And we were all there, all six of us, right? My four kids, myself, and my wife. And I looked at them, and like some of the kids are on the floor, some are on the queen bed. My wife and I are on the other queen bed. And I said, y'all, if we had to go back to this, would we be all right? And everybody's like, as long as we have each other, we're good. See, I don't live in any fear of keeping anything or losing anything. It doesn't matter to me. Yes, I have two really nice homes right here in the water, but I don't give a crap because I don't have my self-worth tied up to any of that crap.
There's a Buddhist mindset that's very similar to what is it you're describing, where you kind of, you obviously, this idea of attachment, letting go of attachment, things like that. And the Buddhist mindset is all about picturing yourself back with nothing. And then where would you be? And it sounds like you kind of almost do that on a regular basis, which kind of keeps you unattached to the outcomes of the ventures that you are going into, which is a great place to be because you don't feel that emotional roller coaster that most people get when things go badly, if a PT quits, if something doesn't go right, because you're not almost attached, you're not tied into that emotionally, which is amazing. But I want to get just a little more specific real quick, which is you're having a meeting with one of your top people. Let's say one of your top PTs. What does that empowerment conversation sound like? In other words, as a clinic owner, one of the things that I struggle with constantly, like we have to hire a new PT coming up. Mm-hmm. And I'll probably be part and parcel to that process. And I would love for somebody else to do that process, but it's something that I do right now. And how do you get to the point where you get that team who actually has the ability to do the stuff that you're doing? And not just how do you get the team on board, but how do you get them to the point where they're actually making decisions that are aligned with what it is that you want them to, align with your own vision?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to communication, right? Like if we are going to onboard someone, I hire in a very unorthodox way. Okay. Basically, everyone has to, I'm being very honest with you, everything that I do is run like the mafia. Okay. I've learned some of my biggest business lessons and just by watching Godfather, I watch Narcos, I run everything like that. I just do it legally. They do it
illegally. I need you to expound on that because that's awesome.
I mean, basically the deal is this. The deal is that I'm not hiring anyone off of any damn resume. It's not going to happen. Okay. See me and live with me are two different things. So here's the deal. I don't want to marry someone that I haven't had a lot of time with. Right. Okay. It's a big decision. So for me, it's got to be more than money. It's got to be the vision. So the best way for you to know my vision is to come and hang out with me. Let's have you come in the clinic. Let's have you check it out. Let's see, do you like the vibe? Is this do we like you? Do you like us? Right? There's nothing that you're going to put on a resume that's going to tell me that. Now, here's the other thing too. You could do everything right. You could play the part. You can act. And then we hire you and you could be a total train wreck. So I don't have my ego tied up into hiring. I don't. I fire fast. That's what I do. because we're going to make mistakes. So the truth of the matter is that I'm just going to be as honest and forthright with people of what it's like to work at these clinics. This is what it's like. Like for us, there's a reason why we have 200 plus 5-star reviews. It's because we give a level beyond what is the norm. Okay. Like our patients are our friends. Okay. It's just the way that it is. If you don't want to do that, then that's fine, but you're not going to work for us. We hang out all the time on the weekends. That's what we do. That's what our team does. Our team wants to hang out with each other. We actually like each other. We're not trying to get away. They're trying to do stuff every single weekend. If you don't like that, you're probably going to be ostracized. It's probably not going to be a good fit. Do you want that? Yes or no? Right? I mean, like how many, like we go to Islands of Adventure together. We go to Universal Studios together. They were all at the event. They were working, processing payments, doing all that stuff. But at the same time, we were going crazy on the dance floor together. That's what we do. That's how we are. Is that you? Yes or no? So they can say, yes, that's me. That's me. They can shadow us and do all this stuff. And then when they get in, they're a total train wreck. We just fire you. It's simple. It really is simple. But we just understand that, look, things happen. Like this is the way it is. I mean, that's it. It's just, it's an unorthodox way of doing it, but it works for us. And that's like, I just communicate. I'm a no nonsense, straight shooting guy. And this is how it's going to work. I will let you into my life. I will give you everything, give you every single opportunity for you to win, but you're going to have to work for it. You're not going to be entitled to anything. You're going to work your tail off for it. And you're going to earn it, just like what we did. I'm telling you, it's just like the mafia. It's a Godfather level, and that's it. And we'll bring you up to junior boss and senior boss and mob boss and all the other stuff. But if you stay with me and you're loyal, you always get rewarded. If you don't, then you're out. And if you get out, you got to start and you decide. Like we have people that get out and they're like, crap, man, I went to this other company or I went to this other coaching program and now I want to come back to you. Well, you got to start from the bottom again. That's just the way that it is. That's how I run it. You know, like it or not, don't matter. It really doesn't matter to me. We got plenty that are in the pipeline that want to come in. So we're good. Right. Yeah.
It sounds like you've got your culture straightened out. And I think, you know, if I were to put one word on what you're saying, then, you know, culture is it, because it sounds like, you know, everybody understands what's expected of them. Everybody has a interconnectedness among the people that you work with and all your team members. We took our team out to go axe throwing last week. You know, I'd love to take them to a beach home when I have one, but, you know, axe throwing will do for now. But I feel like those little team building moments are, I say team building because it's not really even like team building. It's just like you're going there to shoot the shit, have fun, drink some beers. Right. But there's this thing where you don't see each other as like you said, coworkers you're trying to get away from. You know, it becomes just, if you work with the people that you want to hang out with anyway, it creates a completely different environment. But I am forever amazed at how well you do what you're saying that you're doing. You know what I mean?
I mean, you saw it. You saw it at the event, right? Like, you know, this is the culture that we've had to build. I don't want it to be based off of me. I don't need all the accolades. I'm trying to set everything up to figure out how can I get you to win.
Yep.
Right? Okay, cool. But then you need to be thinking, how can you get Greg to win too? You see what I mean? Like, and if we all understand that, then it's all good. I also want it to be like, I'm not doing this because it's my job. I'm doing this because I love the people that I work with and I want their lives to be better. So when I'm training my employees, and I really don't call them employees, I call them my team, the team, I'm like, look, here's the deal. You need to be obsessed with how you can make life better for Chantel. Chantel, you need to be obsessed on how you can make life better for Nikki. Nikki, you need to be obsessed with how you can make life better for Homer. And Homer, you need to be obsessed on how you can make life better for Wendy. And the same thing with Carly and Javier and Joseph and this person and that person, okay? Look, that's it. And if you all don't like each other, then actually you don't want to make life better for each other. Does that make sense, right? Okay. And it's no different than what you see at the event. And I don't know if you were there for the dance party, right? But I wasn't. Okay, cool. All right. So you probably saw me.
Because I was like, we got to wake up early in the morning, but I ended up drinking anyway and I had a good time.
Okay, you did. Okay, all right. So I don't know if you know this, but I actually got food poisoning the night before, right?
I heard that, which is
insane. Okay. It's nuts. And you saw me out there. You saw I was at 100, right? Okay. Now, here's something else that I don't know if you saw. But I was like running around like an absolute crazy man. I was like in a freaking zone all weekend, right? Nothing could hold me back, all right? So I'm there and I'm running around. And you probably saw people, random ladies, putting water in front of me and making me drink. You want to know who those people were?
I take it that was your team.
That was my team. You want to know who else it was? It was my wife.
Yeah.
You know who else it was? It was my daughter. See, the people that are closest to me understand that we just have to make sure G's okay. Okay? I didn't have to worry about getting myself water. They got me the water.
Right.
And
it's not just the culture, it's the support.
It's a support system. And they would stop me and say, yo, hey, and they would just there, and I'm, and then here, drink. They would just say, drink. Okay, good. All right, boom. Wendy, my PTA, drink. Okay, Shanta, drink. Okay, like they got my back. My wife has my back.
It makes all the difference.
It makes all the difference. And what we've done is we just done that with everyone. So everybody has to have each other's back. And if you don't want that, you get out. But if you decide to come back in, you got to start at the bottom.
Right. I want to ask you one more question on a practical side, which is because there's the mission and the vision, right? But eventually you get into strategies and tactics. Yeah. And I think a lot of the things that scares young clinicians about opening their own practice, and it scares me in many ways in all the ventures that I go into, is not knowing how to do something. Right. It's like, you want to do it, but you know why you want to do it, but you don't know how to do it. And so you end up sort of just kind of like trying to you go on a mission, just get information. So I want to just talk real quick about your actual practices themselves, Renewal PT, and what it is that you use to regularly get clients in the door to make sure that those practices have people coming in the funnel all the time, so that, you're not worried about filling the schedule. Obviously, you mentioned at least one thing already, which is you have a tremendous number of 5-star reviews, which of course pushes up your Google rankings. And when people go to check you out, they know that they're going to someplace legitimate. But what other things do you have on the front end that either relationships or marketing funnels or things that people really need to start to be thinking about in terms of how to actually get good customer acquisition in the front end?
Yeah. So let me give you three things. I think number one is you have to constantly publish yourself. Okay. You have to constantly publish. So what does that look like? Okay. For me, back in 2007, that looked like blogging. That was the way that you did it. I was publishing myself that way. Okay.
Are you the only one that publishes, or do you now have?
Now I have therapists that are publishing. Okay.
And
now,
for those that don't know, publishing equals posting. It means going online and
posting
stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. However that looks, today we have video, we have YouTube, we have Facebook Live, we have this, we have that. Back then it was blogs. For me, now we have a podcast, right? And so that'll lead into number two. But number two is building relationships. I understand that, look, turning a lead into a customer is one thing. Okay. All right. That's not that easy. Turning a customer into a repeat customer is pretty easy if you actually give a crap about them. Right. So that's a big thing. We're trained, and that's what I'm saying. You got to unlearn a lot of stuff. It's not about learning. It's about unlearning things. We're trained that the shorter, the better. No, see, I don't believe that. I don't believe in that at all.
We say shorter, you mean like
the shorter as in number of sessions to get someone better, and then we basically have that as a badge of honor. Okay, I got this person better in 2 sessions. I know where you're
going with this, because I'm in your camp on the whole thing where, like, I'm about the relationship. Let's make it as long as we possibly can. A lot of people disagree with me on that.
They totally disagree, right? Because they've been conditioned by the entrepreneur in the insurance company that you are better if you get it done quicker. But that entrepreneur in the insurance company is like, if you get it done quicker, I get more money. And you've actually put your honor and your worth into getting people better quicker. And so what do I mean by that? Because you're probably like, wait, Greg, are you talking about exposing the system and taking advantage of insurance? No. What I'm trying to say is this. I find out from people, I treat my offices like dental offices. Meaning that when you come in and you got a tooth missing and you need a crown, I don't give you half a crown. I give you the whole damn crown. I find out what you actually want. I'm not prejudiced against you based on your insurance. I find out, what do you want? And just like with my students, I allow people to have belief and say, you know what? It doesn't have to stop at just getting your knee to bend to 95 degrees.
Right.
What do you actually want? And then once I find out this is what you want, then I make a commitment with them that I'm going to do everything. My team's going to do everything in our power to be able to get you that. Now, the truth of the matter is that insurance is trash for the most part. And we understand that, is this something that you really want? Cool. Well, then we have different programs. whether it is our monthly wellness programs, it's this, it's that, it's our online stuff that will help you in getting to that point. Your insurance will help us, but it won't be the only thing. So I have set it up to actually find out what the people want. And then it allows us to be able to have a longer relationship. Right. Because we have a longer relationship, now those people are connected with us. And now they are going to refer other people to us. What do you think the odds are that someone's going to refer to you if you're finishing them after 2 times and they barely even know your name, versus them working with you in other programs? Maybe you do 6 visits of physical therapy. Cool. All right, now let's go into this. Hey, how about this? Maybe this is going to be great for you. Hey, I know you want to get to a 5K, so why don't you do this program that we have, our therapy program? Cool. Absolutely. Awesome. So now they build this relationship with us, and now they're like, hey, they are totally different than everything I've ever seen in healthcare. Now they're telling their friends, their family, their pastor, they're this, their church friends, they're this. They're telling everybody, and it's based off of building a relationship. Just totally different than everything we've been taught.
Totally. I have a chapter in my book that actually uses the exact same analogy about being a dentist. And I learned this actually from Shirley Sarman, who says that, we are the only medical profession that discharges people for the most part, and it's
we really are.
In the hospital setting where you're in the hospital, you get discharged from a hospital. I'm not a fucking hospital. I'm an outpatient physical therapy practice focusing on wellness and holistic care. Right. We don't get discharged from our dentist. We don't get discharged from our GP. We don't get discharged from endocrinologists. We don't get discharged from rheumatologists. There isn't a single healthcare provider that we have that actually discharges us. Then why is it that we are even using that term in physical therapy at all? It makes no sense whatsoever.
I'm learning.
And these like clinical obsessed PTs are who are not entrepreneurs, believe, like you're saying, the badge of honor is how I can get this person better in 5 sessions. I'm like, wait a minute, you mean you got them out of pain in 5 sessions? I guarantee you that person ain't all better in 5 sessions. That's impossible. Like no human being can change their entire physiology in 5 weeks. So, and their psychology in 5 weeks. So you are utilizing exactly the strategy that I think we should all be using. So if you are listening to this, please listen to what GT is saying and take it to heart, because it is the future of physical therapy, no doubt. So that was number 1 and number 2. What is number 3?
So I'm trying to advance them. Okay. Right. So we said, publishing, relationships, and now it's about advancing. And everything that we're doing is what is the next level. I talked about it at the event on my yellow brick road, right? Like this is what, look, I hope your listeners, I don't care. Look, I'm saying what I want to say. Here's the deal. The reason why people won't buy from you is 2 reasons. Either A, you stop selling them stuff, or B, they get bored. It's that simple. Okay? If iPhone just came out with the first iPhone and they never leveled up, well, I'm not going to buy them anymore because I'm bored. I'm waiting for the next one to come out. If you don't give me the next one, then I'm going to find somebody else that's actually going to not make me bored.
Right.
So it's called advancing. So here's the crazy thing about physical therapy. The crazy thing about physical therapy is we've never even learned the art of advancing. So we've never had to actually create new stuff. We can't do that. No, we can't do that. No. So guess what? People won't buy from you anymore. They won't. So for me, every year, if you come to my event, I'm going to have something new. I have to have something new. And it gives people the opportunity, for those that want to continue to work with me, to come on the yellow brick road with me. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. Now, that's how it works. And so for me, I feel very strongly about relationships, and about if I'm leveling up, that means that if the people that are below me are leveling up as well, then they want to keep on going up, right? They want to keep on going up. And that's basically the art of advancing. And we have never learned how to do that. So if you publish, if you build relationships, and if you're constantly in a state of advancing, you will never run out of customers. The problem is no one publishes. People hate building relationships. They actually say it's unprofessional. And there is no advancing. No wonder everyone's losing. Duh, you don't do any of this stuff.
Right. That's amazing advice. So do you have like wellness programs within your practice that they move into?
We have wellness programs in the clinics. We have online stuff as well. We have different things that we'll create. We just created like a personal development, program where it's like the power of habit, where they're reading that book They're doing this. They're doing fitness classes.
Yeah.
Dude, it's freaking amazing.
I'm feeling that idea right now.
Oh, dude, take it. It's freaking amazing, right? But PTs don't think like that, right? It's like, no, don't try anything. And that's why I like train my students to be very careful of who you're listening to online. If these people don't have what it is that you want, then you don't listen to them. Okay. So the truth is that most people are scared of change, and you have to understand that, like, that's just the way that the system is, but they are losing. And all you want is just to basically model yourself after winners, to take some of the clues that they've shown you and then go and do your thing of whatever you want to do. And you're going to win all day.
Ascend, ascend, ascend.
Ascend. That's it.
All right. So if anybody wants to get into your world, right, how do they do that? What do they go to? Where do they start? Like, what, they want to get into the GT world, the SSPT world. Give them the inroad. What do they do?
Yeah. I mean, here's what you do. You go to gregtoddtv.com, go there. There's like 4 things that you can download from me for free. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, if you want to listen to me chat and rant and have fun every morning, I do a Facebook Live basically every day. I've taken off 2 weeks because I just finished the event and I'm going on vacation tomorrow. But pretty much I'm on 3 to 5 days a week, right? You can listen to my podcast called Hunt for Greatness. I basically am like give out a crap load of stuff for free, okay? Now you want to get serious? Cool. Go into SSPT. It's a $3,000 program. You go into it, it'll change your life. All right, after that, you're going to want to stay in the world. We've never had we've had 500 people in that program. We've never had a refund ever in all time. Okay, so you're going to go into that. Then you're going to be like, all right, what's the next thing? Next thing is to go to the live event. After that, if you want to work with me more, you want me to help you with your business, then you would go into my coaching program, my yearly coaching program. And you work with me privately.
And you have that entire essential model just set up, which is beautiful. And, I mean, listen, if you're listening to this and you're trying to figure yourself out in terms of like what it is that you're going to do with yourself professionally and where you're going to go and how you're going to leverage that $150,000, degree and those letters after your name, then you have to start getting into Greg Todd's world, because it'll change your life. It has changed the lives of so many physical therapists out there. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you to Greg for first of all, for coming on the show, but more importantly, for doing what it is that you're doing in a world that really, 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 really needs what you are putting down. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man. I truly appreciate it. And, I just want everyone to know, including you, Jared, I want you to know this. The world needs everything that we all have. The world really does, okay? All right? As much as the things that I'm doing, whoever's listening to this, they need what you're doing as well. But you have to believe that. Okay, you have to believe that. Now, one more thing I want to say before we end this.
Yes.
The people that are listening to this right now, I want to tell you this. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make. People have these amazing ideas, but they have a $5,000 mindset instead of a $1 million mindset. When I started SSPT, I had 3 full-time employees and I had not made 1 penny off the mission. 3 full-time people that were working in SSPT. I had not made 1 penny off of it. I had 3 full-time people for 6 months paying them because I was treating it like the $1 million business that I knew it was going to be. Most people don't do that. Most people have a $5,000 mindset. So they can't like going into a $3,000 program wouldn't make any sense because you have a $5,000 mindset. So you're like, whoa, that doesn't make any sense. You see, most people can't even think big enough. Here, I heard this recently. And a guy actually went to, it was Tom Bilyeu. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Tom Bilyeu, yeah, I watched his.
Okay, you watch his stuff. Okay, all right, he's great. So he actually had, he started hiring like ex-cons to work for his company, Quest Bar. Okay, and basically he was like, look, I'm going to give them an opportunity, blah, 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 whatever. And it actually worked out great because this company like grew like crazy. And anyways, he asked them something and he said, hey, if you could have any wish from a genie, these are all ex-cons, by the way, says, what would you wish for? He said pretty much all of them gave the same answer. It was a monetary amount. What do you think it was, Jared? What do you think it was?
How much money the genie would give him?
Yeah, like you said, if you could wish for anything from a genie, you could wish for anything. They all said something. They said
I'm gonna guess that the dollar amount is lower than they should have asked for.
Yeah. Okay. You're 100% right. They all said $1 million.
Yeah.
You want to know what's so crazy about that? They can get whatever they wanted.
Right.
Their mind only allowed them to think of $1 million. Now, for me, I mean, I made $1 million in a weekend at the event. Like, why did they only say that? Why?
Yeah, mindset.
What? It's just mindset.
Yeah.
It's just mindset. And so my reasoning for saying all of this is that many of you have such amazing ideas and have the ability to impact so many people, but your mindset won't even allow you to do it because you think so small and so limited that you won't even allow it to happen. You won't even allow it to happen. And so how does that look? Like, do you say openly and overtly, no, I'm not gonna no, you don't do that. What you do is you sabotage yourself. Opportunities come your way and you say, oh, I don't have time for that. A podcast opportunity comes your way, you say, you know, I don't have time for that
right.
You know, this stuff, you sabotage yourself all day long. And you have all these amazing opportunities, but your mindset is so small and so limited because you've been conditioned to keep it small. And if you think big, something might be wrong with you. You might be too flighty. You might be too this, too that. And so I just want to encourage everyone that's listening to think big and then do big. That's it.
That's awesome. Listen, I don't care if any of my listeners get anything out of it. I got something out of what you just said. That's awesome, man. Thank you again. I think that, you know, you basically understand and you represent the importance of changing mindset first. And every single time I listen to you, I get a little something out of what you're preaching, and I appreciate you for that. So thank you again.
Thank you, Jared. I appreciate you, man. All right, cool. All right.
Dude, that was awesome. That was awesome.
There you go.
Give me 1 second just to stop the recording here.
Okay.